cannot happen. Therefore, online will be important. According to me, online will be important and will be a good supplement. But I don't believe, or I will not recommend that online will be a replacement for the classic, the classic school or college environment. Khan Academy is there, even NPTEL is there. NPTEL should be more useful for it's useful for the students to get certain concepts clarified. It can be very useful for the teacher or teachers also to teach better and so on. Okay, so the idea of NPTEL is not to replace the teachers. The idea of NPTEL is to make certain concepts clear and so on. Therefore, what I am saying through this slide is, we have to stay relevant. Okay, we have to stay relevant. So I got my masters, I got my PhD. It is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning. Okay, in your life, you will be forced to teach subjects which you never learned. I wrote a book on optimization. Nobody taught me optimization till my PhD. I learned optimization on my own. Then I developed a course, offered it as an elective, and you keep on teaching, you improve yourself. Then after 10 years of teaching, I wrote a book and so on. Therefore, the obsolescence is very, very fast, particularly in computer programming and all that. The languages get obsolete very fast and so on. Therefore, there is no time to relax. We have to constantly update our knowledge, otherwise we will become irrelevant. Okay? What are the goals of teaching? So I can put it as a pyramid. The first goal of teaching is to justify your existence. Every month we get a salary, so you have to go to class and teach. That is a very basic thing which is expected of us. Okay? So, in mathematics, how many of you are teaching mathematics? So we call this as a necessary and sufficient condition, right? So this is a necessary condition, but it is not a sufficient condition. Okay? Next will be teaching to impress. I want to impress upon the young colleagues here. After your masters, after your M.Tech, or after your PhD in sciences, or even if a PhD in engineering, when you join teaching, we have a natural tendency to impress. We want to constantly impress the student. Correct? Sometimes we want to, we don't know from where that feeling comes. Somewhere deep inside, there is some insecurity, we don't know. Okay, I'm rubbing you, I'm touching the core. Please forgive me, but it's an open session. Students are not there. I'm a teacher, you are also a teacher. Okay? Some of these we have taught. You have not discussed with others, but it's open. So I'm trying to open it up. Okay? Sometimes you want to constantly remind the students, hey, I know more than you. I know more than you. Therefore you have to respect me. You should not do that. You teach, and you teach in such a way that he'll automatically respect you. There's no need to constantly remind them that I know more. I know more than what is required for the subject. So suppose you take that view. I know much more than what is there in the subject. How does he care? He doesn't care. Engineering mechanics 1. If you teach him engineering mechanics 1, fine, enough. It's okay. If you have published 20 papers in stress analysis, he doesn't care. Okay? So that teaching to impress is okay goal, but it is not the highest goal of teaching. So I think you have to take cognizance of this, and I think we must get over this as early as possible. For example, in this design in nature and engineering, right? I mean design. Afternoon we have a session. We introduced a course. IIT Madras introduced a course in 1998. It was M.S. Anand, who was the director for a long time. He introduced this course called Introduction to Design. So I was a part of this course from the year 2000 onwards, up to 2014 or 15. Now for various reasons the course has been discontinued. That is for some other reason other than academics. We are not able to manage because we are not able to get teachers. So that course, there are 8 people who co-taught the course. Okay, there will be a professor, senior professor who is the coordinator. There are 7 or 8 people who will be handling that course. The coordinator was one Professor Kalyana Krishnan. He was a very senior professor of computer science, highly respected professor of computer science. So this was in the year 99 or 2000. I was 15 years younger. Okay, so full of energy and all that, right? So I taught this class, but he used to sit in the last bench. He used to sit in the last bench and watch. Generally, not to as a policeman or something. Then I talked all about this thing, how I talked about thermodynamics, how ancient caveman developed fire, and then with fire he cooked food, and then it improved his digestion. Then how he figured out heat, how did he figure out the steam engine and all that, and with PowerPoint and this thing and high octane, high energy, and this thing and all that. Then after the end of at the end of the class, he said, Balaji, you meet me in the office at 4:30 after you're done with your this thing. Then I went to his office. He said, hey, sit down. So said, hey, your language is very good. You're very articulate. You're able to communicate very well. You're very energetic. But I think you're trying to impress the students. I was furious. See, I am a PhD, this thing, I've just now come and I have many papers, and who is this old man? I didn't say all this, but this goes on here, this thing, no? Then he also told me, hey, you will not understand what I'm saying now. After 10-15 years, you will understand what I'm saying. But now I have understood. What is the idea of a session like this? Because now I understood, please don't make the same mistake. What is the basic thing in life? Okay, there are two ways of learning. You can touch something which is hot, you can get injured, and then next time onwards you know that it should not be touched. Or if your mother or father says it is hot, don't touch. Then without that experience you will learn because you believe. Okay, so we can make all mistakes in life and learn. That is method number 1. Method number 2, other people who have made mistakes, who have got the experience, if they say don't make it, it is a much faster way of learning. Okay, so what I am saying to the young people is, teach with lot of energy, teach with lot of enthusiasm, but ask yourself whether your true goal is to make them learn or make them appreciate about your style of teaching or effectiveness and all that. I think that should slowly go, right? The next goal would be to improve learning. I don't know whether you're already doing in your college, but in IIT now we have made it mandatory for every course. There is a course content, there is a list of textbooks, there is a list of references. Every teacher has also to give 3 or 4 bullets as learning outcomes. What is the learning, what are the outcomes of this course? You know what I am saying? Suppose thermodynamics. I keep referring to thermodynamics because I am a mechanical engineer. Thermodynamics, you cannot put outcome as, or you say thermal power engineering. The course is thermal power engineering. At the end of the course, the student will know what a boiler is, what a turbine is, that is not the outcome. The outcome will be bullet. At the end of the course, the student will be able to do a cycle analysis of a Rankine cycle power plant. Number 2, he can do a heat balance calculation. Are you getting the point? Like that, you should have measurable and tangible outcomes. So, when you in the first class, when you go, normally the first class is very, very important. The first class in your course is very important. The students switch off or switch on at the end of the first class itself. We are thinking that we are giving test assignments and giving them marks. Every time you go to the class, students are giving you marks. Okay? So the first class is very, very important. What you say, the first class, is very, very important. Now, I leave it open. What do you generally say in the first class? Is there a mic? Or shall we have we can have the interactive session. Okay. What do you generally say in the first class? You feel free. Yes. Very good. First volunteer. Yes.
An overview of the subject
very good.
They are going to learn. And some basics that they need to understand about the subject and the time period
then you'll also tell them how strict you are or how strict you are not, and whether they should come to class 5 minutes, they will close the door, all that you'll tell them.
Yeah, I used to do that, but they don't follow it.
Okay, nice. So overview of the course, basics, and yes, anybody else? Yeah.
Like starting with the syllabus.
Can you have closer? Yeah.
Starting with the syllabus.
Correct.
Then which test we need to follow. Then
What to follow?
which reference tests.
Correct, very good, correct. Books. Okay.
And introducing about the course objective and course outcomes.
Ah,
Then how this course outcome I going to evaluate in such
very
types
good.
of
How we are going to grade? How many assignments, tests, tutorials, whatever.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Ladies, you feel free. No? Yeah. Okay.
Actually, what I do, sir, is I try to know something about the students. I mean,
You try to know about the students.
Yes.
Okay, that's also good. Okay.
Because we want to have an evaluation of the learner level
Yeah.
and their expectation level.
Okay.
So
That's
I
also
spend
nice.
some time on it.
Yes, very good. So, what I suggest is, you speak.
Sir, I'll just give them a chance to express themselves about
Against the other
subjects
professors,
Pardon, sir?
sir. Express themselves against?
No,
Or?
what they know about that subject.
Very nice, very nice. Okay.
Their view about that subject.
Oh.
That is an additional thing which I do.
Okay. Now the whole idea is, you see that various responses are coming, all of these are fine. All of these are nice. So each teacher has his own way. Okay, so you have to find out this thing. And for example, now I just opened up, this is called brainstorming. So we just opened up this, what do you do in the first class? So next time you don't have to call a Balaji. You just have a faculty meeting, have some high tea, just somebody keeps on writing on the board and this thing, then you will finally, because everybody is intelligent, all of you are teachers, you will get some final distance, some 8 or 10 points. Then you can give it as a recommendation. Okay. Now, there are other things which are possible to make your course interesting. Just to add, all of what you said is very, very important. Apart from that, we can think of other things, like how this subject is very important in engineering. You will say that. How this subject is very important in engineering. And what do you learn at the end of the course, and what are the kind of equipment you can design by